Hey guys, so a while back, Simon Baker asked me if I could do a behind the scenes video explaining what I'm doing behind the scenes for my documentaries, because he wanted to show it to students of history and blah blah blah. Now, I actually made a video, and I uploaded it, and I was about to publish it, and then I decided that actually no, one video isn't going to be enough. So, I am now going to be doing a behind the scenes vlog type video like this one, where I just talk to you and explain what I'm doing behind the scenes, and yeah, hopefully it'll be useful to somebody. So, with that in mind, so I just want to explain, so I say about to publish, soon I will publish Fort Eben Emmel documentary, and then after that comes Operation Brevity, the next one, and then after that is a massive battle that I'm not going to announce yet. Brevity will be the last small battle, but yeah, I've already made the script for Operation Brevity, so as a result, I'm going to take you through it now. Now you might be thinking, wait a second, so you're publishing videos on YouTube and you're referencing your material. Really? Do you really need to do that for YouTube? Yes. So the issue is that when you publish something online, people like to call you out for everything. So when I published my Operation Market Garden documentary, here's the script for it, by the way, I didn't reference the actual script. That doesn't mean I didn't do any research. I did loads of research for it, but I didn't actually reference the script. So as a result, when you do, this starts on page 7 of this document and it goes to 46, so it's 22,000 words. So as I'm scrolling through it, as when people started questioning it, oh, your reasoning is wrong, what you've said here is wrong, and blah blah blah. Luckily, I'd internalized pretty much everything to do with this battle, so I knew exactly where I needed to go and get the information. So let's say, for example, I don't know, and they took the area because there was literally no Germans there. When I say things like that and people go, yes, there was Germans there, there were Germans in that area, I can go, actually no, in Kershaw's book, It Never Snows in September, he clearly states that there were no Germans there, just a HQ unit which didn't have any soldiers. And that information's been internalized in my head, and I can go and get the references in the books. So when people were calling me out and going, no, your conclusion's wrong, or this was wrong, actually, no, it isn't. Here's a massive comment essay with all the page references you need, all the quotes you need, blah blah blah, because I had internalized that information. However, I don't know about Brevity. I've never studied it before. I've never come across it before. Same with Fort Eben Emmel. Same with some of the other stuff that I've done, Compass and Rommel, etc. Haven't studied it before. So yes, I do need to reference this material in case I get questioned on it in the YouTube comments, and I have to kind of defend myself and go, no, this video is right. Here's the evidence that says it is. So that's the reason why. In this case, we're looking at Nash, Strafer Desert General, the life and killing of Lieutenant General Gott, who's Strafer Gott. No page numbers, because Amazon decided that they weren't going to use page numbers, because that makes no sense. Chapter 9, because obviously I don't need to read outside of Chapter 9, if Chapter 9 is the relevant one, and several people in Tweed have just gone, no! No, let's just be honest. You just need to read the relevant chapters. I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know when Strafer Gott was having, what he was having for breakfast on his 8th birthday. I don't need to know that. All I need to know is what happened during Operation Brevity, okay? Anyway, so the Coast Group. You don't really need to know about this, but this Coast Group consisted of this. 22nd Guards Brigade Group consisted of this. And 7th Armoured Brigade Group, which I'm dragging, consisted of this. Now, you don't need to know much about that. Just kind of bear that in mind for a second, because I'll come back to it. I've got quotes. I've got, obviously, no page numbers. Amazon again. I do have other quotes and just stuff that's going on here. But this quote, for example, I put really at the end because 2 days after the initial assault, Capuzzo and the Hellfire Pass were in British hands. No, they weren't. Hellfire Pass was. The Capuzzo wasn't. And that's why you don't rely on one source of information. You always get several, because quite clearly, in this case, this is wrong. So yeah, I've condensed the text into manageable chunks. I've got quotes in there, blah, blah, blah. So that when I go to another book, so you'll see this is Nash, this is Playfair. When I go to Playfair's book, and I, in this case, actually managed to have page numbers, which is good. Mediterranean, Middle East, blah, blah, blah. Let's go down to Operation Brevity bit. There it is. So that's what he says on page 160. Oh, look, here's those desert groups again, and look at how much information he doesn't give us. Even though he is the most detailed information on this battle, he decided not to give us very much information on these units. Why would you do that? Anyway, so yeah, again, got the page numbers and quotes and references. Look, he didn't write much on that page, but wrote a lot on page 162. So yeah, I've got the page numbers, the references, blah blah blah, and you'll notice as well that this is in green and this is in purple. Why? Oh, so this is the script for my Operation Brevity Battlestorm documentary, and you'll see that the bibliography is also coloured. So there's Playfair's green. I probably should have chosen a better green, but anyway. And then there's Nash, and you'll notice that there's other ones like Hart and Rogue. I don't know why. I don't know. Whatever. I don't need to quote him. Pitt. Some of them are in black, and you'll be like, why? Because, for example, Dimbleby, Destiny of the Desert, the Road to El Alamein, which is on the Western Desert Campaign, doesn't even mention brevity. But yet, Anthony Beevor, the Second World War, so he's talking about the whole of the Second World War, he does mention brevity, but then provides no details. Well, that's fair enough, that's kind of forgiven, because he's doing the whole of the war, but Dimbleby, Destiny of the Desert, decided not to mention it. What? Anyway, so the ones in black didn't mention it, or if they did, literally mentioned a sentence on it and barely mentioned it in passing. Again, Rommel's Desert War, Life and Death of the Africa Corps. You think they would have mentioned brevity a bit more, but anyway, enough of that. I'm not going to rant too much about it. But anyway, yeah. So these are all the books. The coloured ones, obviously the ones I'm using, I would condense down. So Hart, all that. No, let's just condense it down to that. And then when we get to the narrative, it makes a lot more sense. So the purple is Nash, Gott's Desert Group smashed through the light screen of troops, blah blah blah. We could go down to here. The British move forwards, and then Playfair says, beware, is that how you say it? And Merced are taken by the centre group. Then Nash again says, but the Germans at Fort Capuzzo stood their ground. Then Butler says, Herf, the German colonel, now goes head to head with Gott. Herf reacts by attacking the British, blah blah blah. So, as a visual reference, it actually makes a lot of sense that I can see exactly where the materials come from. So if anyone ever goes and says, well, actually, Herf wasn't hit on the flank by fire coming from 7th Armoured Brigade, well, I can say, well, Nash said it was. So even if I'm wrong and somebody else comes up and goes, here's 20 pieces of evidence that says that you're wrong, I can go, well, I was basing it off what this guy said. So, yeah, fine, I may be wrong, but at least I had evidence that supported what I said. So at least I've not got it wrong. Nash got it wrong. At least I'm passing the blame in that sense. But also, if somebody goes, are you sure that happened? I can go, well, Nash said it did happen. So there we go. Now, you might be saying, well, why aren't you doing the references like you would in an academic thing where you just, write a sentence, do a little, I can't remember what it is, an asterisk or something, and then it turns up in the footnotes. Why don't you do that? Well, A, I'm not submitting this to academia. B, if I did, it would be half a page of footnotes, so I'm not going to do that because that'd just be ridiculous. And C, I just prefer this method. It's just easier. Now, if I wanted to do that method, if I did this and then decided, actually, I want to do the reference thing, I could quite literally, cut that out there at the end of whatever I'm doing. So here, I would then insert the reference and then paste that in the footnote, and therefore reference the material that way. I could do that, and And then at the very end, I mean, that's just a 10-minute job. Well, depending on the size of the script, if it's 20 or 22,000 words, say, it might be a bit different. But, you know, half an hour's work, I could just turn it all back to as it was and then highlight the whole thing and change the text to black and be done with it. When I come to narrate brevity, what I'll do is I will copy everything into another separate file. I'll delete all the references and then change it all to black so that I can use a teleprompter to actually narrate what I'm saying. And by teleprompter, I mean my phone with a teleprompter app, because I'm not rich. And yeah, that's all I'll do. That's how I do my script. It's as simple as that. So before I conclude this video, I just want to point out, so I'm doing this all in Google Drive, which I just prefer. And you can see up here, Battlestorm Theatres, North African Campaign, 1941. I'm having to do this because there's that much information. But in the Operation Brevity folder, I have several files. A is the actual script for brevity. I want it at the front so I can actually see it as soon as I open the file. Bravos are all the books that I used or I'm using currently. These for the diary, because I'm doing the vlog videos. I thought I'd do a little bit of a diary. A bibliography. I've done that separate for some reason. I can't remember why. And the notes, any notes that I need on the whole thing, like, oh, I need to do this, or make sure I do put a character in like this, or I want to do this sort of style of narration, whatever goes in there. Well, I should rename this really, but any animation sort of notes I put in there. And there we go. It just makes it so much more easy to see. Oh, I've what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 books on the battle quoted, and then a few more extra, just kind of rounding out. But yeah, so that's how I organise everything for my scripts and whatever else. So yeah, so if you've got any questions or anything else you want to ask me, anything you want to see behind the scenes, let me know. If you've got any suggestions of a way I can do this more efficiently, I'd be happy to listen to you. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you a behind the scenes sort of look at the scripts. And I think next time, because I'm actually working on the what is it called, the storyboard. I've never done this before. A storyboard for Operation Brevity. So I'll get to show you that, I think, very soon. So there we go. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Okay, this just go on for a while, doesn't it? Oh yeah, and I also rewrote this bit. So this is actually my old script for Battlestorm Theatres, Western Front 1944, Operation Market Garden. Yeah, the rewritten version is there. Yeah, 22,000 words.